The following is a Terry Wyce production.
That it is indeed, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Wyce Thoughts, your virtual campfire sit-down with me, Terry Wyce. So glad you're here today. We got lots in store on the program for you today as well. I think you're going to enjoy it, so grab your favorite beverage, get yourself a place around our virtual campfire, and get ready as we delve into my mind on Wyce Thoughts. Hey, don't forget I got a website, wycethoughts.com. Just make sure you spell my name right, W-Y-C-E, wycethoughts.com. All right. And I can also be found on Twitter, or now it's known as X, at Terry Wyce. Well, let's get ready. Let's get into today's show. You are worth more than you know. We're going to talk about that and so much more this time on Wyce Thoughts. Coming up right after this. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wyce Thoughts. I'm Terry Wyce. I'm so glad that you're here today. I'm so glad you decided to join us. Welcome to the program. And just wanted to let you know, again, the website, wycethoughts.com, W-Y-C-E. Just make sure you spell the name right, wycethoughts.com. There you can listen to each and every episode of said podcast. You can email me. You can leave comments on shows. Check out the blog. That and so much more is waiting for you at wycethoughts.com. If you want to tweet at me on, well, now it's known as X. I used to say tweet at me on Twitter. I loved that little tag, but you can tweet at me on X at Terry Wyce. And if you want to check out some more of my shenanigans and maybe learn a little bit about musical instruments and watch some funny shorts, go to YouTube, my YouTube channel, Wyce Thoughts. Just look for Wyce Thoughts on YouTube. We've also got a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Wyce Thoughts. All right? All right. Enough shameless plugging with all that. So you know where to go and you know what to do. And hey, if you like the program, do me a favor. Would you leave me a positive rate and review with your favorite podcast provider or on the website? Okay? Great. How are you? How are you, my friends? How are you feeling today? How you doing? I hope all is well as we gather yet again around our virtual campfire here. And boy, lots going on in the news, huh? Let's just talk about that really quickly here and get underway with that. You know what's coming back into the news? That illness that we had to deal with back in 2020, huh? That's coming back in the news. I don't even want to, it's getting to the point I don't even want to say its name, because anytime you do, the content censors, they come out in like full garb and they're just waiting for you to say something that they can, chastise you for. So I'm not even going to say its name, but you know what it was. It's the thing we dealt with all 2020 and beyond. But that's making its way into the news, wanting you to go back to the way things were, and I'm not in favor of that. I would just say be healthy, take care of yourself, wash your hands, take your vitamins, eat well, get enough rest, exercise, and go from there. Anyway, what else is going on? The political seasons is starting to ramp up again. Yes, it's politician season. We got winter, summer, spring. What is it? Spring, summer, winter, fall, spring, summer, fall, winter, whatever. And politician season. That should be the next season. It's like, ugh, I tell you. I tend to pull back from a lot of that stuff. Excuse me. Allergy, little dry throat there. I tend to pull back from a lot of those things because you know what? It's just, for the most part, I'm over it. I'm over all politicians on all levels. No, whatever political feelings or desires or philosophy or ideology that you have, as long as you're not hurting yourself or wanting to hurt others, you do you, man. That's kind of where I'm at. But I do have a big problem with a thought process or an ideology that wants to harm others or destroy others' freedoms or a way of life. So that I do take a lot of umbrage with and, provide pushback on. But that's just me. But, everybody is entitled to their opinion, no matter how odd it may seem to others and that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, as they should be. That's what makes America great, is having the ability to have a difference of opinion. And I think we as a society, if I may wax poetic here for a moment before we get on to today's main topic of discussion here on Wyce Thoughts, I think a lot of us have really lost that concept that people have a right to their own opinions. I mean, let's face it, my friends, not everyone is going to think like you. Not everyone's going to think like me. And not everyone's going to think about like your grocer, your butcher, your tailor, your dry cleaner, your aunt, your uncle. And that's fine. We're all born as individuals. We all develop our own thought process throughout, our time here on this big blue marble called Earth. And we should be entitled to formulate our own opinions based on, what we deem as is best for us and ours. And I just, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to delve down that rabbit hole because it seems like everybody and their brother is talking about that on the internet these days, and I just don't want to keep delving down that rabbit hole and going on about it. So we'll leave that as it were, shall we? But again, hope all is well with you. Hope all is well with yours. Boy, summer is like, man, isn't it? It's just, it is going and going by fast, ain't it? Oh my gosh, we're coming up on the end of March here as we go along, and I'm shaking my head going, hey man, where did summer go? Hello, summer? Hello, where are you? And I haven't gotten a lot of things done that I want to do yet. How about you? I mean, are you finding that summer is really going fast? I had such high hopes for the yard this year. Are you like me? Do you like a well-manicured lawn and well-trimmed bushes and, nice plants out there and some flowers and, maybe a nice garden for some fresh vegetables and things like that? I had such high hopes this year, and our tomato plants, me and Mrs. W., the tomato plants, we got a varmint out there, and I don't know who it is. I'm not going to blame the rabbits because I like rabbits, but I'm not going to blame the rabbits because they tend to stay away. But I don't know if it's the chipmunks that we got, or if it's a raccoon, or if it's a deer getting into the yard, or some other type of vermin or varmint. But we had tomato plants in the ground. Well, one was ripped up from the ground, and, we've been fighting, trying to get some tomatoes produced from them, and we were getting there. And then, lo and behold, this morning, when I went out to look in the backyard, the wife called my attention to it. She goes, well, she said some words I won't repeat on the podcast. But she said some things and said, hey, look at what these blankety blank blankies did to this tomato plant. And it was like ripped up almost by its roots and strewn off to the side. I'm like, oh, man. Okay, somebody was hungry. And, was nibbling and munching on some tomatoes that were out there. So it's like, well, I guess that one's done for. So we're going to try and salvage what's left. Although we have gotten some great green peppers out of the garden this year. Some nice sized green peppers, and nothing. I tell you, if you've never planted, if you have the opportunity and you have the space to plant your own garden, let me tell you what a interesting, challenging, but pleasurable experience it is. Not only from the relaxing standpoint of your mind being relaxing, that you're out there and you just kind of, your mind wanders and you dig in the dirt a little bit, commune with Mother Earth and what have you. And you try and grow something and nurture it. But the other aspect of, once you harvest said vegetables, the taste, my friends, is so, I cannot tell you enough how the taste is different from your store-bought vegetables. The difference in the taste of a cucumber, of a green pepper, any multicolored peppers, tomatoes. Oh my gosh. If you get a chance to homegrow your own tomatoes and harvest them and eat them, I I challenge you to put that side by side with a store-bought tomato, two tomatoes. Now, we want to compare apples and apples, Terry. Grow your own tomatoes and then, have a bite of one of those and have a little slice of something you bought at the store. I'm telling you, you are going to taste a lot. I mean, unless you have no taste buds. And for those of you that have more sensitive taste buds, wow. Just overall, the homegrown stuff is so much more flavorful, vibrant. It's a fuller taste, I guess, is the only way I would describe it. It's a fuller, well-rounded taste. And where now I notice the difference in a store-bought tomato, it's kind of bland, kind of generic. It kind of makes me wonder, what exactly am I eating in here? What chemicals are going into my body? But be that as it may, just, same thing with a cucumber and the peppers and that, what you can grow. We grew some watermelon, a few years back, and wow, it just, the taste was overall on every single one of those items that the aforementioned items, was such a difference, such a more pleasurable eating experience from those vegetables, and that if you have the opportunity, try it. You can't go wrong growing your own stuff because you control what's going in, what's coming out, what's put on it, etc. So, anyway, enough of the horticulture and agriculture, right? So, what are we going to talk about today on this episode of Wyce Thoughts? Well, I want to talk to you and implore upon you to let you know you are worth so much more than you may realize. Now, I know some of you are saying, Terry, what does that mean? What are you talking about? What I mean to say, and what I mean by that statement, that you are worth so much more than you even realize, is this. Many of us just kind of go through our lives, yours truly included at times and still do, but I was heavily doing this in the past, and just think, unless I get that promotion, I'm not going to be good enough. Unless I make X amount of dollars, I'm not good enough. Unless I'm able to comprehend this language or something, I'm not good enough. Unless I'm able to learn this skill, I'm not good enough. Unless I can master the art of doing this particular task, I'm not good enough. And we put a lot of unnecessary and undue stress and misery upon our own lives. Because, I'm sure you've heard it said, we tend to be our own worst critics. And I'm raising my hand, folks, right here and telling you right now here in the studio. I'm raising my hand. I'm just as guilty as the next person. You are your own worst critic. And believe me, I can just pound myself into oblivion. Believe me, I know it. And I do it a lot. And still do to this day. Not as bad as I used to be. It's like that old story. There was a boxer that was going to fight George Foreman. His nickname was Bloody... Oh, hang on, let me check here and see who it was here. I think they called him Bloody Bill or Bloody Bathen, something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the name, but I just heard the story the other day, and that's what got me thinking about this and why I decided, hey, I'm going to talk to you all about, realizing you're worth more than you know. Anyway, he was an up-and-coming boxer, and he used to just get the living tar beat out of him, and he would just basically, instead of blocking punches with his forearms and his fists and his boxing gloves, he would block them with his face. This man would take an unbelievable amount of punishment in the ring. This was back in the days of George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, etc. And he just, some fights he would win. He would tire out his opponent, but he had a heart of a warrior, and he would just keep going and going and going and going and going. And he used to get beaten to a bloody pulp. That's how he got the nickname Bloody, whatever his name was there. And I apologize, his name escapes me, and I don't have a computer in front of me right now. But anyway, that's not really intrinsic or important to what I'm talking about. The following is, he got a chance one day because Don King saw him and heard about him and started following him and said, hey, man, how about you want a shot at George Foreman, a shot at the championship title? And he said, yeah, of course. Well, the fight before that he was supposed to get his title fight, he was going to be next up to fight, the world heavyweight champion. Well, Foreman was fighting Ali, and we all know what happened back in the 60s. Ali won. He beat Foreman. So now he was going to have to fight Muhammad Ali. Well, this fighter bought his wife some negligee and said, hey, a nightgown, and said, hey, just want you to know that after this fight, I'm fighting tonight, you're going to be, spending a romantic night with the heavyweight champion of the world. And so, that's what he told her. And she said, oh, okay, because he was very confident. He was like, okay, I got a shot at the title. Here I go, boom, 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 boom. Well, he fought Muhammad Ali. Now, it went the distance. And Muhammad Ali, though, won by a technical knockout. I mean, that's how there were some close calls in the 9th round where Ali, he hit him in the chest with a punch and knocked Ali down, and he turned to his ring man and said, hey, get the car started, man. We're out of here, man. We're going to be millionaires. Get ready to go to the bank. And his ring man said, hey, you better turn around. Ali's getting up. Ali got back up, and they went, I believe it was 15 rounds back in the day. And Ali ended up winning on a technical knockout. But he did go the distance. And the funny part of the story is, there's 2 parts of the story here to end it. His wife had took out, because she was on the audience near the front row at the end of the fight, she took out the night negligee and said, so will I be going to Ali's, room, or is he coming to pick me up? And she was laughing, I mean, obviously she didn't, but. Well, sitting in the audience that evening, watching that fight, was someone who had an aha moment. It was a writer. He'd be kicking around ideas for a book, and he had an aha moment, and he says, this is it. This is the story. This is what I can adapt a story to. And he went home and wrote a screenplay. And that person's name was Sylvester Stallone. Now, Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky based on this fight he saw between Ali and this other fighter. Now, he took it to Hollywood. Hollywood got wind of it. They offered him, they said, listen, we'll buy this thing from you for like $400,000, I believe was the price back in the day, which was a great sum of money back in the day, back in the 70s. And Sylvester Stallone said he had a dream. He says, no. He turned it down. He turned down the $400,000, and he only took, I believe it was $40,000 he ended up taking, and he got to play the lead role in the movie, and he got, at the time, what was an actor's salary, the minimum of $340 a week. He took a chance on himself. He believed in himself. He knew and this story was worth more than you could ever know. And the rest for him, as they say, is history. Now, because Sylvester Stallone based the story on this other boxer's life, they went to said boxer that had lost to Muhammad Ali and said, listen, we'll give you $70,000 right now for this because it's based on your life. Excuse me. Or you can forego to $70,000 and we'll give you 1% of the movie's proceeds forever. Well, the boxer kind of being a little strapped for cash and not really thinking that the movie and everything was going to be what it was, obviously, not having that foresight, he took the $70,000 and walked away. Well, here's the thing, my friends. If he would have taken the 1% of the movie deal, it ended up being worth about $8 million. He would have had an $8 million payday over time. But instead, he took the $70,000. And today, if you look for him today, last I heard, he is working in California someplace as a liquor salesman. Just goes, and again, I do apologize. The name escapes me, but I just heard this story, and I thought I had written it down, but I didn't. But just to give you an idea, that just goes to show you that believing in yourself, you are the only you. You are the only you. No one can be you. They might try with artificial intelligence. They might try to copy maybe the way you write or the way you talk or emulate or that. But you are an individual. There is something unique about each and every one of us in our DNA and our thought process. And this was a nice reminder to me not to give up on your dreams, your hopes. Realize that you are enough. Okay, and you can go further than you ever even thought possible. Don't sell yourself short. That's the big takeaway. Don't sell yourself short. You are worth more than you can ever imagine, especially to you. So before you get depressed because that person called you a name, or because the boss put down your work, or maybe you got fired from a job or laid off from a job, or your company went out of business and you're feeling down and low, or maybe that relationship with that friend didn't work out the way you thought it would, or maybe that marriage broke up that you thought would last forever, or maybe that girlfriend or boyfriend decided to let you go and move on, what have you. Maybe something you were trying to ascertain. Maybe you started a company and it failed. Don't give up on yourself is what I'm saying. Don't do it, because you are worth more than you could ever know. And I implore you not to give up on yourself, because you're worth so much more than you could ever imagine. And I implore you to realize that, live it, and embrace it, because you're the most important person. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast today, and I just want to know one thing. Do you believe in yourself? You can do it. I know you can. I hope you got a lot out of this. I know I sure did, bringing it to you today. And remember, like I always tell you, my friends, to see the change you want in the world, you have to become that change you want to see in the world. It all starts with you, the person looking back at you every morning in the mirror when you get up. Be your best you. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Be kind to animals. And thanks for listening to Wyce Thoughts today. Remember to visit my website, wycethoughts.com. You can tweet at me on X at Terry Wyce. Visit my YouTube channel at Wyce Thoughts. Look for us on Facebook, facebook.com/Wyce Thoughts. And until next time, my friends, take care and God bless.